As Miles Upshur tries to access the security checkpoint to open Mount Massive Asylum's main doors, Father Martin injects a sedative in him. While Miles loses consciousness, he manages to see on the monitor, through one of the underground laboratory's security cameras, when the Walrider tears apart some Murkoff's agents who had entered the laboratory. A few minutes later, Miles passes out. The Walrider is seen again as Miles passes through the prison showers in the form of a blurred silhouette, and once again in the sewers. After some time walking around and as Miles goes up a staircase, 2 patients can be heard fleeing from the Walrider, only to be killed by him. He reappears in the courtyard flying through the air, and once again Miles finds him, this time behind a locked gate. In the documents found during the game, it's explained that the Walrider project is a process of exposing patients to the morphogenic engine to create a host for the cloud. To accomplish that, the subject must experience a certain number of horrors. Apparently, the variants are the result of these experiments. Billy was the only one able to control the Walrider by self-directing his lucid dreams. However, because they were using only people with mental problems, the situation spiraled out of control, and the Walrider ended up managing to escape, killing many of the staff and triggering a major prison break. At the end of the game, Miles arrives at the labs, where he saw the Walrider kill several of Murkoff's agents. The cloud then chases Upshur through most of the place, killing Chris Walker in the process. Miles subsequently disables Billy's life support, killing him, but the Walrider brutally attacks him and merges with his body, taking the journalist as his new host. As Miles crawls to the exit, Dr. Rudolph Wernicke, along with some Murkoff agents, shoot and kill him, while Wernicke realizes that Miles has become the new host. The game ends with the screen going black as the Walrider is heard murdering the soldiers. Whether Wernicke shared that fate or not is unknown. The Walrider appears again in Whistleblower, this time as a secondary enemy. Although he appears, at first glance, to be a ghost, the Walrider is actually a cloud of very small machines that possess great strength and power. He took possession of William Hope, a patient at Mount Massive Psychiatric Hospital. Hope was able to control him by self-directing his lucid dreams while undergoing the morphogenic engine therapy. As Waylon Park escapes from confinement in the hospital, the Walrider appears and kills the 2 patients who were locked up with him. Minutes later, it resurfaces and attacks him, ceasing to follow him when Waylon enters a room where patients had murdered a doctor. The cloud reappears moments later, following Waylon into a decontamination chamber, after which it can only be seen as a silhouette in several places. In the prison, Park watches as the Walrider chases 2 patients into a room, locking them up and killing them. In the drying ground, the Walrider appears in one of the corridors leading to the water tower, ignoring Waylon completely. After escaping, Park sees several Murkoff agents in the men's pavilion, and on one of the radios, he manages to hear soldiers being attacked by an unknown assailant in the lab, who is Miles possessed by the Walrider. Arriving at the exit, Waylon finds Jeremy Blair wounded at the exit door. Park ignores Blair's pleas for help, which in turn leads to Blair stabbing him in the abdomen. But before he can finish him off, the Walrider appears, lifting the executive into the air and tearing him apart. Waylon finally arrives at Miles' abandoned jeep, and as he enters it, he manages to spot a black cloud at the entrance of the asylum. Park grabs the video camera for a closer look, and it turns out that the silhouette is Miles crawling towards the exit. Waylon immediately starts the jeep, making his way through the front doors of the asylum and speeding towards freedom. In issue number 3 of Outlast, the Murkoff account, it is revealed that, despite being killed by Miles, the Walrider possessed Billy's body and went to Tiffany Hope's trailer, who was his mother. After Tiffany was torn apart by the swarm, Billy's body was destroyed in an explosion. Nevertheless, the Walrider survived it, switching hosts with a colony of ants. Still controlling the ants, the Walrider travels to the outskirts of Temple Gate, specifically to the Murkoff Corporation's radio towers, destroying them and causing the microwaves to malfunction, locking the towers in a flash of light. Since then, he's never been heard of again.